Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jaya Radhe Jai Jagannath Swami Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Garanita Jaya Garanita Garanita Jaya Garanita Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Sri Sri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai, Vrindadev Tulasi Maharani ki jai, Vrindavan Mathura Dham ki jai, Navdeep Mayapur Dham ki jai, Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru Gauranga Namah Shripadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutala Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Name. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayed Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So today we'll be discussing verse number 12 from 4th canto, chapter 22, Prithu Maharaja's meeting with the 4 Kumaras. Swagatam vo Dvijasreshtha. Swagatam vo Dvijasreshtha. Swagatam vo Dvijasreshtha. यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया धीरा बाला एव बृहन्ति च स्वागतं वो द्विजश्रेष्ठा यद्व्रतानि मुमुक्षवः चरन्ति श्रद्धया बाला एव बृहन्ति च सुआगतं welcome va unto you Dvijashrestha, the best of the Brahmanas, yet whose Pratani vows mumukshavaha of persons desiring liberation charanti behave shraddhaya with great faith dhira controlled bala boys eva like bruhanti observe cha also. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Prithu offered his welcome to the four Kumaras, addressing them as the best of the Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, "From the beginning of your birth, you strictly observed the vows of celibacy. And although you are experienced in the path of liberation, you are keeping yourselves just like small children." Maharaj Prithu offered his welcome to the four Kumaras, addressing them as the best of the Brahmanas. He welcomed them, saying, "From the beginning of your birth, you strictly observed the vows of celibacy, and although you are experienced in the path of liberation, you are keeping yourselves just like small children." Purport. The specific importance of the Kumaras is that they were brahmacharis, living the life of celibacy from birth. They kept themselves as small children about 4 or 5 years old, because by growing into youth, one's senses sometimes become disturbed and celibacy becomes difficult. The Kumaras, therefore, purposefully remained children because in a child's life, the senses are never disturbed by sex. This is the significance of the life of the Kumaras. And as such, Maharaj Prithu addressed them as the best of the Brahmanas. Not only were the Kumaras born of the best Brahmana, that's Lord Brahma, but they are addressed herein as Dvijasreshta, the best of the Brahmanas, on account of their being Vaishnavas also. As we have already explained, they have their sampradaya, disciplic succession, and even to date, the sampradaya is being maintained and is known as the Nimbarka Sampradaya. Out of the four sampradayas of the Vaishnava Acharyas, the Nimbarka Sampradaya is one. Maharaj Prithu specifically appreciated the position of the Kumaras because they maintained the Brahmacharya vow from the very beginning of their birth. Maharaj Prithu, however, expressed his great appreciation of Vaishnavism by addressing the Kumaras as Vaishnavasreshta. In other words, everyone should offer respect to a Vaishnava without considering his source of birth. Vaishnave Jati Buddhi. No one should consider a Vaishnava in terms of birth. The Vaishnava is always the best of the Brahmanas, and as such, one should offer all respects to a Vaishnava, not only as a Brahmana, but as the best of the Brahmanas. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadate Swapadantikam. There are so many very wonderful applications in this purport, translation and purport. Here, the king Prithu, he was not only just a king to a small province, he was, by this time, he was the emperor of the entire world. And from his name, the word Prithvi is derived. Bhumi or earth. So Prithu was very, very great personality. So emperor means so much power is there. But still, he is making that power to the subservient to the pure personalities. This is the very important aspect of those who have power. Like, for example, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. For example, in any situation, either in old ages situations or current political situation, so much power is there to certain people. But now, how are they using that power? It determines their character. It's not, one who has the power can handle the power in a good manner or as a beneficial to the society. The one may not be able to handle the power in a proper way. So mishandling the power will create a lot of disturbance. So here the positive example is how Prithu Maharaj is using his power, his position to respect the top class Vaishnava Brahmanas. And another application is when he saw the four Kumaras, the moment he saw them, immediately he brought their character into the nature, into his mind. What is that? Their character. So the prominent character of them is their celibacy. There are various kinds of brahmacharis, there is kinds of sannyasis of various levels. And one of the brahmachari is called Naistika brahmachari. It means right from the birth, they never wanted to involve in a maithuna and begetting children. They don't want. That's okay. In service to Krishna, that's welcome. So, and that's one of the important quality on spiritual path. So Prithu Maharaj immediately saw what is that, their spiritual asset. And then he started appreciating them. Because they wanted to continue to be or to maintain the celibacy, they used their mystic power and then stopped their growth beyond a certain age of boyhood. This is very wonderful application. See, all these things are very, very important applications. We all have a big asset. Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry, I'm not saying in terms of things. I'm saying in terms of personality assets, that point of view. And he gave, Lord Krishna to all of us. It's a very, very big asset. So how are we going to use that asset in our own lives and in others' lives? So one of the nature of the Kumara brothers is, they use their mystic power and then stopped. So in other words, they are very, very attentive to their spiritual growth, very attentive. And they know what are the disturbing elements to their spiritual growth. So that shows their determination and their willingness to move forward on the path. So those who determine like that, Lord Krishna will give the guidance from within. From within. I mean, the ideas I mean to say, how to move forward, that kind of help. That kind of help. So they got a brilliant idea. Who will get the idea to stop the growth of their body? But they got that idea. How? Because of their determination. How Srila Prabhupada got so many innovative ideas. So many innovative ideas to preach. Why? It's because of his determination to serve Lord Krishna on that level. On that level, Krishna reciprocated with him. So now, coming to the purport. So one's senses sometimes become disturbed and celibacy becomes difficult. So nowadays, these things are encouraged. The negative things are encouraged in the society very much. The negative things which are very, very disturbing to one's own mind and one's own existence. It's a very, very disturbance. The things which are encouraging in society now, the mixing with the opposite genders and investing their mind, this is all trap trap of the society. They wanted to trap and control the human intelligence so that their intelligence will not go to the right cause towards the Supreme Lord. So such traps are there, particularly the electronic gadgets. See, once upon a time, these disturbances were not there. There were some other disturbances, television disturbances. And before that, in 1920s, at that time, actually, the movie industry began in India in 1920 and 30. Primarily, the movie industry the Britishers used to destroy the Indian culture. For that purpose, actually, they used the movie industry at that time on a mass scale. On mass scale. So, and then disturbances began. Many. And prior to that, the disturbances are so much from, the kings who are not pious. So much disturbances came to the society. And prior to that, the disturbances were from Mayavada philosophy. Mayavada philosophy. These are all the stages of disturbances in the society. Right from the before Ramanujacharya, before him, roughly 300 to 400 years. Something like that. The Mayavada became so prominent. The Mayavada means the theory which tells that one is God himself or can become God. That's not a fact. Human or the soul can never become God. Can never become God. It's not possible. Simply, it's not possible. It's not our nature. It's not our nature. So these are all disturbances in society, and one have to be very, very vigilant in protecting one's own devotion. See, one thing always comes to my mind. We are responsible for our own devotion. No one else is responsible. Others are helping us very much. Like our spiritual mentors are helping, our gurus are helping, Srila Prabhupada is helping, Srimad Bhagavatam is helping, Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, all are helping us. But who is responsible for our devotion? We only are responsible for our devotion. So, with that, but that responsibility will be maintained by our determination and by our faith on Krishna. And then with the full force of desire that yes, this should be last life in the material world. So that determination propels them. And then here Prithu Maharaj is addressing the Kumaras as Dvijasreshta, the best of the Brahmanas. And Prabhupada is saying that how a Brahmana becomes the best Brahmana. First of all, who is a Brahmana? Prabhupada is explaining that nobody should consider these categories of the society like Brahmanas by birth. No one is a doctor by birth. Is there anyone doctor by birth? No one is lawyer by birth. No one is engineer by birth. But very, very interestingly, those which are not applicable and they apply to the spiritual process and then they spoil the spiritual process. No one is Brahmana by birth. Kalo Sudra Sambhavaha or Janmana Jayate Sudraha. By birth, everyone is Sudra. And then some people may raise objection. No, you are, what to say, it's not disgracing. What to say? That word, I'm not getting. You are criticizing us. No, Shudra is not by stamping a person, hey, now you are a Sudra. It's not like that. Just like if you stamp on a person's head, you are a doctor. Does that mean the person becomes a doctor? No. Then who is a Sudra? Sudra is a person who cannot handle the money and power for the benefit of the society. Rather, he always given an opportunity, he always uses them for one's own selfish purposes and one's own enjoyment. And that's called sense gratification. So that person is Sudra. So Janmana Jayate Sudra. And then Samskarat Bhaved Dvijaha. Right? By following proper Vedic samskaras, one become a twice born. It means his life now freshly began. Second life or a second chance was freshly began. And then the journey continues. Everyone has opportunity to move on spiritual path. Everyone got the opportunity. No one is barred from spiritual path. This is another mass mispropaganda of a Vedic system. The Vedic system, the mispropaganda is the Brahmanas will never allow others to become Brahmanas. They always suppress. Then they are not Brahmanas. Just like a doctor will not suppress others from becoming doctor. A genuine Brahmana will never suppress others. Will never and ever. So the full scope is there for everybody. Everybody is there. In fact, Srila Prabhupada once said that this movement is to make Brahmanas. Yes, to make Brahmanas and Brahmanis, Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So the journey goes. How? The next step is Veda Patat Bhaved Vipraha. Veda Patat. So one who is very, very inclined to study the Vedas and bring them to the day-to-day application into the lives. That's a very, very wonderful, very, very wonderful. The Vedas has, very, very practical. But the only thing is, they have to be learned from a competent authority. Then it becomes a very, very great source of happiness. And we can solve many, many of our problems, if possible, all problems, depending on our application. So, and then, so Veda Patat Bhaved Vipraha. So one then studies these Vedas and bring them into the application, then that person is called Vipra. And then it follows further and further. Now understanding. Next stage is the source of everything except Krishna. That's Brahman. The source of everything except Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna is source of that Brahman also. So that's called, so that understanding is called Brahman understanding. Now whoever understands that, that person is Brahmana. Brahman janatiti brahmanaha. And now journey ends? No, the journey goes. The further journey is understanding the Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is far more superior to a Brahmana. I mean, it's not a comparison like that, this person great or that person great. It's not like that. Like, for example, a final year student or MBBS student, is he greater than, better than a second year student? Which one is superior? In a sense, no, everyone is beneficial to the society. It's just a matter of time, that's it. A second year student also will do the, treat the patients, and the final year also, after some time. So similarly, It's not that a Brahmana is great than Vaishnava. It's not like that. Or Vaishnava is, the comparison is a Brahmana is in a lower level of student. That's it. And a Vaishnava is superior level of student. So what is the superiority? The superiority is understanding the personal nature of God. The personal nature of God. So that's a very, very superior understanding. What is that the Lord is doing? What He will do, or what we will do after going to God? That's a very big puzzle for many, many people. Most of the people in society, a very big puzzle. And so then to solve that puzzle, then one has to understand the personal nature, and Bhagavatam brings us to that stage to understand the personality of the Supreme Lord. And the third canto opens with that question. We see what are the questions of Vidura. Vidura asked one very, very, it is just a door opening question for our spirituality. He asked that because he knew Krishna. He personally saw Krishna. Vidura, right? He saw Krishna personally. And Krishna spent in his house one day. So how nice person or nice devotee he was. And the question is, he asked that, he asked Maitreya. He asked that, it's a very natural for any person when he takes a decision, the person takes the decision based on, what is in it for me. If something profit is there for me, then I will take that decision. I'll put that into practice, that decision, and then I'll implement, and then I'll follow up. Right? But that's because the persons actually, they need something. They feel that without that enjoyment, to gain that and then enjoy, they don't be happy. So they do that. But what is that? The decision making process of the Supreme Lord Krishna. What is that his decision making process? Because he doesn't need anything, right? Yes, he doesn't need anything. He's a very, very powerful. He can create anything. See, we need something because we can't create. Yes. We can't create food ourselves. We can cultivate the food using the seeds, but we cannot create it. And we cannot create anything. But we are using only the created things. But for the Lord, He is all powerful. Lord Krishna is all powerful, supremely powerful. And He can create anything He wants. So such a person, my dear Maitreya sir, I am feeling some difficulty here. How he takes the choices and decisions and behaves I feel it's a very difficult to understand, or it's a very difficult, to imagine such kind of personality. So, can you please explain? Can you please explain? Very, very wonderful. The question, ends till, that question is answered till end of the 8th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very wonderfully explained, that question. So that's the Bhagavan realization. And then the journey goes. After Bhagavan realization, when one fortunate enough to fully please Krishna, and then Krishna says, okay, now you don't have to be in this world, come back. This world is very, very troublesome. Very, very troublesome world. Krishna said, aprapya mam, what do you say? Having attained this world, you worship me. You worship me. Why? Because this world is not a good place to live. It's not a good place to live. The good place to live is the spiritual world. Originally, we all belong to that place. And yeah. And then, so the differences between Brahmana and Vaishnava, and then, yeah. So they decided to become, yeah, and the four Kumaras are head of one of the Vaishnava Sampradaya. And this Vaishnava Sampradaya means, just like how the mysticism is there in Siddhis, right? Similarly, Vaishnava Sampradaya also is one of the mysticism. It's not that easy to understand the Parampara system. How Lord Krishna protects the sincere souls through the Parampara system. It's a Lord's system. And the Lord reveals how the Parampara system works only to the people who are very, very willing and sincerely to become instruments in the hands of the Lord. For such people, the Lord reveals the genuinity or the workings of the Parampara system. Otherwise, He will not reveal. Because just imagine in this world, whatever is there in this world, we have seen that misuse of it. Yes? Anything you see in this world, there is misuse of it. Application. Well, then one may say that, why do you see always the misuse, always the wrong side? Why don't you see the good side? Of course, we should see the good side, but that doesn't mean that we should become indiscriminative not to see the bad thing. Just like we travel on road, and then while traveling on the road, are we aware of the footpath or not? Like a vehicle, we're traveling, say, certain some 100 km/h speed. Are we aware of the footpath or not? We are aware of the footpath. Yes? We should be. Otherwise, we will run. We will, try to move the vehicle on footpath. So similarly, simultaneously we should see the both. Vidya and avidya, or ignorance and knowledge, or bad thing and good thing. This is what Upanishad is encouraging, right? Simultaneously we should see the both. And then give priority to the positive side and try avoiding the negative side. So Parampara system is like that. Krishna claims the souls through this Parampara system. And there are 4 Parampara systems established by the Supreme Lord. And one of that system is, our system is a Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So our system began from Lord Brahma. And here another Parampara system began, and Lord Brahma, Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and then again Vishnu and Kumaras. And that Parampara is called Nimbarka Sampradaya. Nimbarka Sampradaya. Okay, I think we covered almost all practical points from this verse. Maybe, whatever I understood. Yeah, that's it from my side. Any comments or questions from anyone? Okay. We have 3.5 minutes left to 9 o'clock. And here the Prudumaras respecting the Kumaras is very, very exemplary. Very, very exemplary. The respect is one of the important aspect in one's spiritual life. Through that respect only, we will try to gain, we can gain anything substantial, the spiritual thing. Without that, it's not possible to gain the spirituality or to gain the devotion. It's not possible. And if we see the life of Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, and whoever respected Srila Prabhupada on that level, by the way, this respect is not that, an external outside respect. Oh, I have to respect, so I will respect. Prabhu, come on, please sit here. I have to respect you, come on. Because I have to respect. No, it doesn't work like that. The respect is by seeing, just like how Prithu Maharaj is respecting the four Kumaras by seeing their qualities, the Kumaras' qualities. So then the respect. That respect only will become a conduit to receive devotion into our heart. Otherwise, the respect becomes just an external respect. That's okay if we respect like that. That's not a problem. But that will not give us anything in terms of the genuine devotion. It will not. It will not. Just like two persons, hey, I'll say you doctor, you'll also say me doctor, please. We both become doctors. No, we will not become doctors. So similarly, the respect, the genuine respect is a very, very important to us as saintly persons for us to, in modern terminology, to tap the energy. So if you want to tap the bhakti, the flow of bhakti, that respect should be there. If at any time, the other way, at any time, if that respect is relaxed, be watchful. That respect is relaxed, then be watchful. Then we will feel whatever we feel enthusiastic and inspirational at some point of time. Those things also will be relaxed in our life. Hare Krishna, 9 o'clock. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.